Hey guys, Red Power V 1962 here, and I want to let you guys know that this is one of the two videos that I'm going to be making about my trip to Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. I went on this 4th of July vacation with my big sister, our two cousins, and my big sister's boyfriend. I had a lot of fun with this vacation, so much so that I wanted to share this vacation video with you guys. But before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you want any more videos like this or any more videos on my channel. And if you want to, please go on to my Patreon and become my patron. And with that being said, let's get on to the video. First off, I wanted to make a special mention to the boat taxi ride, as in my personal opinion, it is the best way of transportation from your vacation hotel to Universal Studios Florida, as you don't have to worry too long about the next boat ride, and you don't have to worry about traffic as much. Let's start things properly with the Islands of Adventure, starting with Marvel Superhero Island. I had a blast going through the Marvel Superhero Island section. It made me feel like I'm going through a literal 90s comic book section. Though, if I gotta be honest, I didn't actually get to do much during my time on Marvel Superhero Island. All I managed to do is the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man ride and the Spider-Man meet and greet. And though they were both extremely fun, the Spider-Man ride especially being the best dark ride I've ever been on, it's a bit of a shame we didn't actually get to do much during Marvel Superhero Island. Also, special mention goes to the Hulk coaster, because while I never actually got on there myself for obvious reasons, my big sister and her boyfriend alongside one of our cousins actually went on there, and they said that it was a lot of fun. Next up is Toon Lagoon, an excellent section of the theme park that allows the guests to get out of the Florida heat by enjoying some excellent water rides. And while I'm not familiar with many of the properties there, outside of Popeye or Betty Boop, I will admit that the Dudley Do ride was very excellent, especially with that drop. I also went on the Bilge Rat Barges ride, and I gotta say, not only does it have a cool queue with some cool looking animatronics, but it also got me really soaking wet. Perfect for the Florida hot sun. Next up is Skull Island Reign of Kong, which if any of you have already seen my last video on my last trip to Universal Orlando, you already know my opinion on this ride, but for those of you that don't, I'll make a long story short. It was a pretty decent dark ride with an awesome Kong animatronic at the end. Next on our list is Jurassic Park, which is known for its River Adventure, which is a simple yet fun water ride, which takes you through a soothing and calming first half, and then a creepy and thrilling second half, all with some amazing animatronic dinosaurs. Though I will have to admit, it is still a bit of a shame that they can't get the Ultrasaurus to animatronic yet. But I'm sure that Universal Studios will bring it back soon. They're just trying to fix whatever is wrong with it. I also got to go inside the Jurassic Park Discovery Center, and got to meet and greet with a scientist who was holding a baby raptor in his hand. And I also participated in some sort of You Bet Jurassic family game show, which was about dinosaur quizzes with other players. I lost, but I had a lot of fun with that quiz. Also, special mention goes to the Velocicoaster, because again, while I didn't actually go on that ride, my big sister, her boyfriend, and one of my cousins did, and judging by their reactions, they were surprised about how fast that ride actually went. And I'm actually glad that I didn't actually go on that ride, because I would have been scared a lot. Finally, there's Hogsmeade with the frozen butterbeer, which was absolutely amazing. I recommend anyone to try the frozen butterbeer. Next up is the Ollivander Interactive, a neat show which allows the one to actually pick out its host. I didn't get picked though, but it was a neat little show to watch. Before I get on to the rides, I have to make a quick mention about how much I love how they made Hogsmeade feel so lively with its many animatronics and its many moving portrait-like videos, like the one you're seeing right now. Finally, we can talk about the rides, starting with Flight of the Hippogriff, and while it may have a cool-looking Hippogriff animatronic, it was actually very short. No wonder the line actually didn't take too long to wait in. And the last two I'm going to cover, which is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey and Hagrid's Motorbike Adventures, I've already covered before. But to make it long story short, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey was a very fun yet creepy adventure that goes you through a creepy forest section with the spiders and the Death Eaters. In fact, it was so creepy, in fact, that literally one of my cousins was screaming due to the spiders. And the Hagrid roller coaster was so much fun that when the ride attendants actually allowed us to ride again twice because of a slight wait delay, we couldn't refuse the offer. We just had to go on immediately. Next and last but not least is Universal Studios Florida. Now, while I haven't gone on as many rides as Islands of Adventures, 5 at most, I did manage to catch some cool street shows, such as the one with the construction crew band, the one with the many street performers, and I got to see some cool meet and greets, such as the Knight Rider bus and Alex the Lion from Madagascar, the latter of which I did take a picture with. And I got to see the dragon from Diagon Alley breathe fire. Now let's talk about rides, starting with the Revenge of the Mummy ride. Now, I must admit, when I first heard about the name as a kid, I thought it would be too scary for me. And for the second and third time I went to Universal Studios Florida, I simply didn't have the time. Now that I got the chance and the courage to actually ride this, I can safely say that it wasn't too scary. In fact, it was a lot of fun, and it was very exciting and fast. In fact, it was so fun, in fact, that I decided to ride it a second time, but this time I had a little challenge for myself. I decided to try not to look scared or amazed by the ride. I can't go into much further details, but this is the best ride in Universal Studios Florida. Now, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is a mixed bag for me, as on the one hand, I do love the opening queue with the goblin animatronics and the elevator. But aside from the amazing drop from the beginning, the ride just feels like a lesser version of the Revenge of the Mummy ride because of the fact that it relies on screen way too much. Men in Black Alien Attack is also in the same position as Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, as while the opening is very humorous with its impressive animatronics, and the spinning can get really intense. The biggest problem that I have with it is that it's a shooting dark ride, and I suck at those. Also, if you guys want to know who got the most points out of my family during this ride, it was my older cousin. Now, I've already covered the Simpsons ride, so I'll make this short. If it weren't for nostalgia, I feel like Kong would be a lot higher than them, but that's not to say that this ride is bad. In fact, it's a pretty enjoyable ride. It had a great and sadistic sense of humor, especially with the safety video, and it did a great job on bringing you to the world of Springfield. Though I will admit that with the rough animation and one moment that grossed me out, it would have been a lot better. Now, before I talk about the last ride I actually went on, I have to talk about the Rip Ride Rocket ride, as my older cousin actually went on it. And his opinion is that aside from the big beginning drop, everything else was pretty much a downhill from there. Now, I've heard about how the Transformers The Ride 3D is basically a worse version of the Spider-Man ride. And after riding this ride twice, I kinda have to agree. You see, the fundamental reason as to why Transformers ride doesn't work compared to Spider-Man is because the Spider-Man ride allows you to actually feel like you're actually into the world of the comics. It makes you feel like you just entered into the Spider-Man world. Whereas for the Transformers ride, you kinda just don't feel the same magic. You just feel like you're just accompanying Evac in order to bring the Allspark all the way to Optimus Prime, and nothing more. You don't feel immersed or anything like that. Heck, if anything, it feels like Evac could have done this mission without you. But I still enjoyed this ride and had a great time helping the Autobots fight the Decepticons, even if I did practically nothing. Thank you guys so much for watching this first video on my most recent trip to Universal Orlando Resort. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this and more videos of mine in the future. If you guys want to become my patron over on my Patreon, I'll leave a link in the description. A big shout out to my sister for coming up with this fun 4th of July family vacation. That's all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, I'll see you guys in another random time. See ya!